Hi, I'm Lynn Pierotti. I'm sitting down here at the Kiowa real estate offices down here in Freshfields. I'm with Jim Stuckey, former Clemson great, San Francisco 49er great, and played with the Jets for a year
Yeah,
also.
I did.
We're going to ask him some questions about football and real estate. When did you fall in love with football?
You know, Lynn, it was, I can remember ever since I was 6 years old, wanted to be a pro football player.
So your first competitive football is in where you grew up in Case?
And Casey, and then we had moved down to Atlanta, outside of Atlanta, a place called Carrollton, Georgia.
Sure.
And got with the Recreation League, played on the blue team, and ended up started doing that. So it was regular. I played 1 year of flag football when I was 6, and started full pads when I was 7. Played till I was
Always on the
30
line?
years old. No, I was a tight end and middle linebacker.
Okay.
So I could run. I was thin. Swimming kept me very thin.
Yeah, I would think so.
And so it was really good. So I was very mobile, side to side, and tight end.
So at this time you're back in high school. You're back in South Carolina?
Yes, I'm back in Columbia. In
Airport
Casey.
High School?
Yeah.
Okay. How were y'all as a high school team?
We weren't that good. Dick Sheridan, who had come from Orangeburg, Wilkerson, went on to coach at NC State, Furman.
Yeah.
Dick came to Airport for 1 year. They went 9-2. They had never had a great teams at Airport, but Dick, he was that 1 year, caught lightning in a bottle and went 9-2. And then that was really my introduction. I was in the 9th grade, but I got to dress out with the varsity. I got to play in a couple games. So anyway, it was really good, but we weren't that good at all, and we were below 500 all 3 years that I was there. But I was tight end and middle linebacker.
At what time did colleges start taking notice of you? What year?
Probably my sophomore year, because I was still thin. I want to say even when I was a junior, I was only like 6'2", 170, but I had a big frame, and I could run.
Right.
I could run. I could move laterally and everything.
You're like Hendrix out there.
Yeah, and then at the end of my senior year, I was 6'4", 225. I just shot up like crazy my senior year in high school.
So the colleges come around. Who's recruiting you the hardest?
I narrowed it down to University of Georgia, Clemson, because they were in state, and they made me feel the most welcome.
Okay.
They made me feel like family up there. Red Parker was the head coach then, but Clyde Wren, who was a head recruiter at Clemson, and then long time with South Carolina Gamecocks, one of my dearest friends still today, and University of Tennessee, and Bill Battle was the coach back then.
Yeah.
So I narrowed it down to them. South Carolina said I didn't play their kind of football. Jim Carlin, who we got to be dear friends afterwards. Right. And so after every game, I think the least amount of tackles I ever had might have been my freshman year against Carolina was 11 tackles. The most was 13.
And you're playing defensive tackle at that point.
Defensive tackle. And I would go over to the sidelines being a cocky young kid. Say, hell no, you son of a bitch, I don't play your kind of football.
And
so anyway, but that's a true story. And
I believe it.
All my stuff is all true.
Now, defensive tackles today, if he was making 12 or 13 tackles in college, they give him the Heisman.
Oh, baby, I'm telling you. I told all my guys I'm so in awe of how Clemson has recruited. And when we had all the 4 guys that went in the first round, and Dexter Lawrence is playing now, and Christian Wilkins, and they're friends of mine, and the guy that went to the Raiders. Anyway, we had 4. I said, look here. I was down at Al's Chop House, and Coach Sweeney had brought them all down for dinner or whatever. And I said, look here. I hate to tell you, but one of you poor son of a bitches would have been playing behind me. But unfortunately, one of the things I'm most proud of, like at Clemson. I still hold the record for the most tackles ever.
I would think so.
Lineman, and and they don't play but 3 years now, which means a lot. But
they rotate a little bit more,
yeah,
and they don't run it up the middle quite as much as they used to.
No, but anyway, it was good. But I loved Airport High School. I loved the mentorship. There was an assistant coach, Kerry Smallin, who became a very good coach at Batesburg, Leesville. Then he went on to Newberry College. A guy named Jim Barnes, who was my linebacker coach there, who went on to have a great career at Union High School, and he was a heck of a wrestling coach. He had multiple wrestling champions.
So they bring you into Clemson. You've played tight end and linebacker. Do they tell you right now we're moving you to defensive line, or do you think you were going to come as a linebacker?
No, I wasn't a defensive lineman coming up to Clemson. I was recruited as an outside linebacker. I played middle linebacker in high school, but I had good range, good quickness. They put me behind Jonathan Brooks, who was two-time All-ACC defensive end, who I ended up playing with for 3 years. But anyway, 2 weeks before the season, our defensive tackle, Jeff Mills, from somewhere in Greenville, I'm trying to think of the name of the school. But anyway, he was a freshman, Playboy, All-American, he tore his knee up terribly. And they put me down there. I'm 6'4", maybe 230 pounds. Ended up being, I was 6'5" then. My freshman year I grew. And never been in a 3-point stance, never been in a 4-point stance.
Right.
So they put me down there.
At 240.
At 240. Jeff never got back in. It's like, when somebody gets hurt, and an opportunity presents itself, and it's happened so many times in the NFL. Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady.
The best example
and
of it. Wally Pipp.
And Steve DeBerg and Joe Montana.
Yeah.
So, you see it happening, but I never left. Once that happened, I was just a fixture there. But it's good to be humble. And
how much bigger did you get over the 3 years by the time you were drafted? What did you play in the NFL at defensive tackle?
I came out of Clemson at 6'5", 260, 262, and I played as high as 280, 285, and we get back down, and I was a really good. We changed from a 4-man line where I played outside edge of the tackle to a 3-man where I'm playing head up the tackle.
Okay.
So I was at 255, but I was fast, really quick. So I had to move head up the tackle.
So you guys were running up.
So I'm getting bumped, So I'm getting bumped around. I just too light in the fanny. So these guys still back in the day, even in the 80s, were in the 300 plus range. So I just had to put on weight. And
now you guys had one of the first guys I remember as a specialist. Was it Dean that was kind of y'all's rush guy?
Oh, baby. Fred Dean.
And I heard Paul told me some stories about Fred, too. Not necessarily football related.
Yeah, Fred was the best defensive lineman I've ever seen. 6'3", maybe 228. But Fred, he was so funny. Back in the day, we would be going to the weight room. Fred be smoking a cool cigarette. He's always smoking a cool. He'd get down on the bench press at 225 just to see how many times. He'd do 32, 34 times, and he'd grab a cigarette from between his legs where he kept it at the end of the bench. He said, well, that's it for me. But he is still to this day, he is the only player in the NFL to ever win the AFC Defensive Player of the Year and the NFC Defensive Player of the Year.
Where'd he go? Where was he in the AFC?
He was San Diego Chargers.
Okay, and that's where y'all brought him in from?
Yeah.
Because I remember he came in late, but he just came in and he sacked the quarterback all the time.
He was absolutely. I've never seen anybody that had more dip and turn, and he was able to just throw these guys. He was just he grew up doing pulpwood down in Louisiana, hauling pulpwood and lifting all these logs and everything.
Yeah.
He was just naturally strong and fast, so fast, but the leverage. But anyway, one story about Fred real quick. I'll tell
please.
You. So Fred, he had just come up, and we had been to practice a few times, and Fred had a little lisp. He always called me Ducky. Come here, Ducky. You got to see this. So anyway, we're living in the same neighborhood in Foster City, California, right on the water and everything. And so I said, I'm going by Fred's. I'm going to check him out, see how he's doing and everything. So I pull up. He's got two totally restored Chevelle SS's in the driveway there. One was orange, and one was a green, an emerald green with the mag wheels and everything. I go into his house. Fred had a card table and two chairs for his chair. He had a mattress, just not the box springs, just a mattress laying on the floor, and he had a blanket, two pillows with no pillowcases. He had a TV in the little living room or whatever, but on the floor were 67 game balls from the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, that tells you.
I counted every damn one of them. I said, Fred, you the baddest son of a bitch I know. But he was. We loved him. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, he died from COVID. I don't know how he got it, but he was, revered, still is today in San Francisco. And just if you ever hear anybody in the league, you ask them about Fred Dean, and nothing but accolades throughout. And as fine a guy off the field as he was.
Had to help him that you guys had probably the best secondary at the time in the league. What was it, Dwight Hicks and the Hot Licks?
We had Dwight Hicks from Michigan. We
Lott.
had Ronnie, Bobo Lott.
Yeah.
And
I remember Hicks and Lott. Those guys were headhunters.
Eric
Wright was a great one, yeah.
And Carlton Williamson.
Yeah.
So I believe, if I'm not wrong, and I think in maybe 84, that all four of our defensive backs were all pros.
Yeah, never happened again.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll never will.
All four.
Yeah.
So that
and
was
we're headhunters, too. Especially Lott would knock your head off.
Ronnie hit you with his body.
Now, wasn't
and not too many people can do that. Ronnie would hit you with his body, not just with his head.
Was there a story about Ronnie Lott where they wanted him to play in a game, but something was wrong with his finger? And
he got it cut off, the digit.
Yeah.
Right there, he got it caught between his helmet and another guy's helmet.
Went out.
Yeah, he kept playing. Shot it up. He had a big hand. Blood was everywhere. And but he bandaged. They put guard and looked like a big club. But he kept playing, and they found his finger on the field after the game, the digit, and they put it in a cup of ice, and took it to the hospital with him, and they couldn't reattach it.
Jesus.
So you look at him today, that's missing.
Yeah, that's a player right there.
Oh, baby, I'm telling you, and his legend lives far and wide in the
still
NFL.
Does.
Yeah,
still does.
He is really good.
So, 81, you guys go to the Super Bowl. But everybody remembers even more than the Super Bowl is the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And did you know Clark when he was at Clemson? Was he coming after you?
I didn't know. We lived right beside each other. For 3 years. Him and Steve Fuller were roommates, and I roomed with a guy, Jeff Bostic, who went on to play 13 years maybe with the Hogs, who was the center for the Washington Redskins. So Jeff and I lived next door to Steve and Dwight. And, the quarterback, you got the pretty boy, wide receiver, All-American and everything. And so we lived right next to him. But Dwight and I became good friends, and we played 10 years total together, 3 at Clemson and 7 years together with the 49ers.
So how many people on that Clemson team made it out to the 49ers with you?
3.
That's pretty interesting.
There's me, Archie Reese, who was a year ahead of me.
And Reese was another defensive lineman too,
defensive lineman. Right. And Archie was our defensive team captain. He was from Maysville, South Carolina, which is up by Sumter. And Archie lives in Tampa now. Thin. I wish I was thin, but Archie's thin. And Dwight, I'll tell you a little bit about the game if you want to know. So, here's what I equate it to. Everybody forgot to tell us that we weren't supposed to be good.
Yeah.
Everybody, we're a bunch of young kids.
This is when the 49ers were ascending to
Yeah,
be the
we're
great
ascending.
team they were.
So
right.
81. So 80, my rookie year, we were 6-10. Then we drafted Ronnie and Carlton and Eric and
Montana takes over.
And Dwight, and Montana takes over. Dwight becomes more proficient. We're putting in this West Coast offense. But everybody came from winning programs.
Mm-hmm.
We all came from winning. We weren't used to losing. And we were a bunch of young kids with a lot of fire and a lot of energy. And Bill harnessed that, and we were eager to win. And I think people just need to, winning breeds winning. I mean, you look at South Carolina or Clemson, you know how Dabo has taken us on this incredible run. I mean,
Georgia, Alabama.
People are spoiled.
Yeah.
People are spoiled. But anyway, they forgot to tell us that we weren't supposed to be good because we were young. And that first game in the NFC Championship, which is certainly the most iconic football game in 49er lore and history. But within the NFL, that's still in the, I would say, in the top 5 of some of the greatest games. But when Dwight caught that pass, that was a culmination of all that we had worked for, and we weren't supposed to do it. And it was so, so good for the fans of San Francisco. They were looking for something to feel good about. San Francisco, the city, was in such disarray. The mayor and I think one of the commissioners had been shot, assassinated. And, people jumping off the Golden Gate in record numbers. And we started winning, and it gave a city a belief, and it resonated with
and then kept winning afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you, Carrollton and Casey.
Yeah.
Now you're in San Francisco.
Oh, baby. I'm telling you what. And so I go from Casey, South Carolina, which is a small...
To Clemson, which is
not much to San Francisco. Such a diverse atmosphere. I mean, you've got every nationality, every gender.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like today, but back in the 80s. And you have such a diverse culture and city that you can't just come out there, well, I'm a white guy and all I know is black and white. And that's all I did know was black and white. But now you've got every single person imaginable from all over the world. Yeah. And they're descended on this little city. But we all came together. But it was definitely a culture shock. But I got to eating a whole lot of different food and everything. But it was
at that time,
great.
y'all had taken over. I know the Giants were kind of big. The Golden State Warriors were an afterthought.
No, they were.
Nobody even cared
they weren't
about
good.
them.
The Raiders were still a presence.
Yeah.
The Raiders, but they were across the bay. They were the bad boys from across the bay. But people quit jumping off bridges, off the Golden Gate and everything, and it gave that city, 48 guys gave that city an identity.
So you win it in 81. You guys go back in 83. Who are you playing in 83?
We played Miami Dolphins. We went to the...
Was that Marino's one chance at the Super Bowl?
That was Danny's. I mean, and he was good. He was slinging
one of the best.
Slinging the ball everywhere.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year, all this. I mean, I've never seen anybody that could just fire that ball.
When you see him out, do you remind him that you beat him in that game?
No, I don't. You know what? He's the only guy. I never wear my rings around him. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
He remembers the game.
And I know. He said, damn it, Stuck. All I got's a Hall of Fame ring. I said,
that's not too bad.
But he would trade that Hall of Fame.
And it's sad, too, because people old enough like us can remember how great he was. Now there's quarterbacks that come out all the time.
Yeah.
People don't remember how great Montana was, how great Marino was.
Oh,
because you're looking in the days today. There's great quarterbacks today, and Brady's maybe one of the best. But Marino and Montana still would have survived and thrived in this league today.
And they'd have been making a whole lot more money than they made back then.
I don't even want to ask about that.
And they made a lot of money.
Yeah, because I remember Paul's second contract thinking that was astronomical. And now the lowest guy on the totem pole is making twice that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did they do signing bonuses back when you signed as a rookie?
They did.
What draft pick were you, by the way?
I was the 20th pick in the first round.
And back nowadays, pretty much know where they're slotted. Did you have any
Yeah.
idea who was interested in you and where you might end up?
Coincidentally, I thought I was going number 4 to Cleveland Browns. And
Probably glad you
then,
didn't in the long run.
baby, I'm really glad.
Art
But
Modell and
I
crew.
played up there too. I'm coming off that lake.
He's
all
freezing.
That cold. Oh.
They're bad and they're freezing.
Yeah, so I thought I was going to go number 4 to Cleveland, and then they traded and took Charles White, who just passed away, the
tailback
Heisman
from
Trophy
USC,
winner from USC.
Not a bad pick at the time.
No, so they went there. So I fell to 20th because of people's needs.
Sure.
And everything. But I ended up, back then you could negotiate. I had a great agent / attorney, a guy named Marvin Demoff out of Los Angeles. And that's how Danny and I got to be so close, Marino, because Marvin would put us together, do all these corporate functions. And
that was his agent also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I ended up with the 7th best. So I'm the 20th pick. I ended up with the 7th best contract.
That's pretty good.
And I was the only one in the first round with a 3-year and an option. For
Guaranteed.
3-year contract with an option, because they didn't give guarantees. But back in the 80s, they were trying to sign guys for 5 to 6 years.
Right.
So Marvin negotiated mine down. I never will forget. I'm holding out. Why in the hell am I holding out? And I'm down in Pebble Beach, which is pretty cool. I'd never been there before.
Right.
And ever seen blue water like that in my life either. And so anyway, that we finally signed, and everything was fine. Everything, once you get fine, even Marvin said, just relax. And so I did.
So then after you're getting your second contract right after the second Super Bowl, so they had a little more money.
Eddie DeBartolo, he was the best owner.
That's what he said.
Best owner. Everybody wanted to play for us.
Back when it wasn't common for owners to take care of his players, he took care of everybody.
He took care of
and
everybody.
liked everybody and partied and played with everybody.
He did.
Yeah.
We were the highest paid team the whole time.
Hotels,
I was
locker
there.
rooms, though, those kind of things.
Well, I tell you what, Eddie's philosophy, and he was a young guy. He was young in his early 30s, and his daddy bought him the team, Mr. DeBartolo Sr.
Right.
And Mr. DeBartolo was the largest developer of shopping malls in the world.
Right.
So they developed that concept of shopping malls out of Youngstown, Ohio. But Eddie, he said, if we're going to play first class and everything, we're going to act first class. We're going to travel. You're going to get paid first class. And I expect you to play that way. So I'll tell you a quick story. We had gone down to Dallas my rookie year, 1980. We got beat 56-3. I mean, got stomped. And to show you how much Bill had transformed this team from 1980. So we played Dallas in the middle of the season at Candlestick. And Eddie comes in before the game. And he, all right, if you beat these guys, I'll give you anything you want, anything. We beat them 45-3. So in one season, we had gone from getting 100-point swing.
Yeah.
So we beat them, and we're in the locker room, and Eddie's jumping around. And, what do y'all want? What do you want? The plane, boss, the plane. Like Tattoo on Fantasy Island. So from that day, still today, from that day right then, the 49ers always flew a 747.
Yeah.
To wherever we went. And we'd have owners, not owners, but or the head of restaurants and famous chefs coming down the aisle on our plane, giving us lobster and prime rib and steak and shrimp and just anything, and Italian food while we would go travel. But we travel, he said, nobody will ever have anybody beside them, and no one will have anybody in front of you.
All of the games you played, there's one standout, and I don't care if it's from Pee Wee football till the Super Bowl. What game stood out to you as the one you remember the most?
We lost to the Washington Redskins in the NFC Championship.
82?
In 82, I guess. It was for the 83 Super Bowl, maybe. So we were going back. They got beat by the Raiders in the Super Bowl. We lost 24-21 at RFK up in D.C.
Sure. Tight little stadium.
Yeah, so it was rainy, it was cold, and
And you were going against the Hogs the whole time.
the Hogs, John Riggins, he was running. I mean, we played, and Joe we got down 21-0 and came back to tie it, and then on a controversial call, late, I mean, a couple minutes left, and I'm telling you, it was a very controversial call, a pass interference on Ronnie Lott, and so anyway, Mark Mosley, who was like the guy from Dallas this week, Mark had already missed 3 field goals, and Joe Gibbs was the coach, and who was it? Joe Theismann, I guess, was the quarterback.
He was Theismann there, not Theismann yet.
And but anyway, he kicked a field goal with hardly any time left, and they beat us 24-21. But I've never played harder, and I was crushed, mostly physically. Everybody was. It took a lot out of us because we had come back, and when you get to the top, like the Super Bowls and everything, it's so tough to stay there. You look at guys now, and you look at the teams. I mean, it's so tough. It's easier to get there, but staying up there is so tough. And Bill made us into like a machine, though. Bill Walsh, and like in '84, we came back and we were 18-1, and we were a machine.
Yeah,
we could not
completely.
Not only was our offense good, but our defense was.
Y'all got Roger
first
Craig
and
by
second.
that point, too,
Yeah,
don't you?
we had Roger.
Yeah. When did Rice come along?
Jerry came.
Solomon was my favorite wide receiver.
Freddie Solomon.
Yeah.
Fast Freddie.
Loved him.
We called him Linkster. All 5'4" of him.
That's why I liked him.
Freddie could fly. Fast Freddie. That's what we called him. But Roger and then Jerry. And Jerry, he had lost his count. He kept missing balls in practice and training camp. He couldn't catch a cold. And he had come from Mississippi Valley State, where
It'd been in Mississippi.
Oh yeah, so he was doing great, but he finally got his confidence back, and Bill wouldn't let him get down. Walsh wouldn't let him. He kept keep chunking that guy the ball.
Yeah,
and he ends up being the best in the history of the NFL.
I think so. I don't think anybody's come close since.
But Eddie was still the owner, and we still did everything first class.
So.
Everything.
You spent 8 years at the 49ers? 7. And then you go to the Jets. What was that about?
We had come back from Green Bay, and they only guy that wasn't hurt was Marty Lyons, their sack exchange. So Abdul Salam got hurt, Joe Klecko, and Gastineau.
Mm-hmm, I remember that. They had an unbelievable front line.
Yeah, they had a good team. They had
the sack exchange.
Yeah, and Joe Walton was the coach, and Kenny, God, I can't remember his last name right now, but anyway, they were good. They had Al Toon and Freeman McNeil was a running back, and Bud Carson, who was the longtime engineer of the Steelers' steel curtain at Pittsburgh, was the defense coordinator. Wise, great guy. But I go up there. So anyway, I get cut that morning.
Back then they just let you go because they didn't pay you.
Let you go because we had to get, and one of our guys got. We brought on Mike Clark. So I go 7 years. I've been in the same locker. Nobody's touched it. I got stuff growing in there.
Right.
And my locker, I walk in, and this is the sad fact about it's a business.
It's big time.
It's big time business. Locker's cleaned out. My name's off.
That's how you found out.
Yeah. And Bronco, the equipment manager, said, "Stuck. McVay and Coach Walsh want to see you." John McVay, who was our general manager, and said, "We love you. We appreciate everything you've done. You've been a stalwart within our organization and in this community. But we had to bring on wide receiver and everything, and we cut you." And then
were you still starting up into that point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But then he said, on another note, you got a 12 o'clock flight to New York Jets. They've already picked you up.
Okay. So you were on waivers at that point?
Yeah, I was on waivers.
Okay.
So they picked me up within 15 minutes.
And why'd you only play there 1 year?
I didn't want to, I couldn't stand New York. I used to go and visit New York.
Yeah.
I would go quite a lot.
And again, you moved from one expensive place to
I never left Midtown. Never once left Midtown. Never went out to all the boroughs.
And y'all are playing in Shea Stadium at the time, or what was the name?
We were in the Meadowlands.
Okay. They'd already moved over to the Meadowlands. Okay.
But I'm telling you, man, they're out on Hempstead at Long Island. And where so I go up there. I'd never heard of Hempstead. I heard of Long Island. So I'm staying at the Long Island Marriott. I'm running up a $27,000 room service bill, eating fried chicken, drinking Heinekens, and French fries. That's all I had. And I said, I'm done going to hell. I got this big house out in California, and I got guard gates, and my dogs are out there, and I'm in this Marriott overlooking the Nassau Coliseum where the Islanders played. I never got a car. I got these Porsches at the house. I got a Jeep. I got a Softail Harley.
All in California.
I got all the toys.
Yeah.
And I'm up there, and but it was good. But I remember walking in that day, and I never got a car up there. Never rented one. Marty Lyons come pick me up every day, and I loved it because Marty played at Alabama and me at Clemson. So he took a liking to me and me to him as well, and he took care of me. But it was God, it was tough being up there, and the press is not as friendly up there.
And there's 8 million venues, so there's
there's
20 papers, there's 50 radio stations, and they all got to get their microphone in front of you.
Yeah, so it was. So I go up there first time in the equipment manager, and they're happy to have me and everything, and I'm positive, and I was a little shell shocked because I only had a few hours to, gather my thoughts and hop on a plane. So I go up there and a pair of jeans and a purple polo shop with the collar flipped up because I thought I was somebody cool as hell. And a pair of damn Hawaiian flip-flops on. I get off and they said there's going to be a car to pick you up. Well, I'm used to a black car coming to get me if I'm, that's how we traveled. And it was a van. It was a van carrying about 20 people all the way up through each area to drop you off. And then the next morning I'm in there, they're handing me all this stuff, all this gear and all these hoodies and all this Under Armour, not Under Armour, but under clothing. And he's pulling up the blinds and they're plowing the field. They're plowing with a little snow plow. They're plowing I said, oh, damn.
Not California anymore.
Oh, baby. I was trying to get to Midtown as fast as I could to go get me some clothes. But
so your football years are done.
Yeah, I'm done.
What are you thinking you're going to do at that point? And when do you come back to South Carolina?
You know what? I came back.
Right after that year in New York?
No. I stayed out there about
California.
3 more years. 3.5, 4 years. Yeah, in California, still at my house, and I still.
You doing anything?
I was a money conduit for a big mortgage lender who I was putting people together.
Gotcha. So you were working.
I was working, and but it's interesting as people look to see, it can't last forever, but you don't think you can't last forever. So it was a tough, I think it was tough, emotional.
As soon as fall practice. First fall practice, you're not playing in 40 years.
What am I going to do?
Right.
What am I going to do with my life? I'm almost 30, and you've been doing this since you were 6. So what am I going to do now? So when I didn't know, I knew I enjoyed people an awful lot. So after 3.5 more years out there, I said, I'm a Southern boy. I'm coming home. So I came home. I came to Charleston. My grandmother was born and raised here. Came to Charleston. I said I want to be around the water. And I knew everybody because I would train here in the summertime because it's hot.
Yeah.
And you can't even break a sweat out there. So anyway, I got to know everybody around. And I called a dear friend who had a restaurant down here. It was the #1 restaurant back. It's called 82 Queen.
Sure.
Joe Sliker. And I said, Joe, I'm coming home. And do you happen to know of anything that I might be decent at, or a job or whatever? And he said, what do you want to do? I said, damn, I don't know. And that's a scary feeling.
Yeah. Because
people come out of college maybe not knowing at 20, 21, but I'm coming out at almost 30 years old. So anyway, he called me back 30 minutes later. I said, I got you a job with Pearlstein Distributors, Anheuser-Busch, for Edwin Pearlstein here, the local Anheuser-Busch distributor. Sure. They created a job for me, on-premise coordinator, where I was in charge of getting all new product and our Anheuser-Busch products, along with Heineken, which we carried also, into bars, restaurants, hotels,
sure,
any place that you could, drink on premise.
We owned the distributorship in Memphis, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, sir.
So I would set up things, so I got good at going around drinking beer with people. But if you got 2 rings, you can at least get in the door.
Absolutely.
It will get you in the door. So I did that 4 years and then got swooned into the real estate business. And I'd never done real estate. And I met some people that were really good down at Colleton River Plantation, the owners down there. And they have since did Berkeley, Belfair, and they had Palmetto Bluff before, our partners here. But anyway, Buddy Darby, who owned Kiowa Partners,
right,
who owned Kiowa Island, and along with Pat McKinney, John, God, I can't think of John's last name right now, but he said this guy doesn't have any, he has raw talent. He brings something to the table that nobody in your team has right now. So I would take a chance on him and see about the real estate. So 29 years later,
still with Kiowa
I'm
Real
still
Estate.
with Kiowa Real Estate. I love it down here.
And Darby's gone now, South Street Partners, and you've stayed with them through there.
They're a great team.
What do you remember? Because I own a real estate company too, Sandella Real Estate Company, and every once in a while you get a crack, and you're like, wow, that was it. What was your first crack where you're like, I can do this?
Oh, you know what? When one, it was all about the chase. It's still about the chase for me. Because I'm selling stuff, and I was selling things that people wanted.
Yeah.
They don't need what I have. They want what I have. And it's their dreams of being a family, to bringing the family down and to learning how a little kid to ride on his bike on the beach or whatever. So I've seen generations do that, but it was, oh my God, it had to be my first year. I didn't have an oceanfront sale. I think I sold an oceanfront condo. And they weren't that much back then.
No.
I mean, now it's Jesse James without a gun.
Yeah, exactly.
but it's, but back then, I mean, you could get them for a few $100,000. But I said I could do this because I was meeting people. What I realized was, and I was a nice guy. I'm genuinely interested in helping them to achieve their goals. And because it's all about family, pretty much so here. They're trying to make memories.
Yeah.
They're trying to give and do things with their kids and maybe the grandkids that they didn't get to do with us.
Sure.
So helping to facilitate that.
29 years, you've probably showed 2 different generations home.
Oh, I have. And I've got people that, I had a guy call me the other day, and he said, Jimmy, you're not going to remember me. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. His name was David. I'm not going to say his last name, but anyway, he said, I met you in 1995, and we were trying to buy an oceanfront lot for $600,000, and it sold while we were down there. And he took me across the street to a back ocean that I had a view and everything, but I was across the street, and I should have bought the house, and it was like $1 million something then. But anyway, he said I passed, and I was crazy. But I'm coming back, and I'll be back at the end of February, and my budget is in the $5 to $6 million range now. He said, but I didn't listen to you, but I never forgot you.
Yeah, well, that's nice.
Yeah, so he's coming back. So that's what I get my gratitude and stuff from. And, you know, in all seriousness, Lynn, being on a team, like you own these companies, being on a team means everything to me.
Yeah.
I'm not a good, I don't want to be an individual guy. Kiowa has always had great teams, and we've always been first
Number one,
class.
and number
first
one.
class,
Yeah.
yeah. And everything we do, the partners, they give us all the tools. They let you engage in the community. So, and that means a lot to me. And you got great mentors. I've got guys here that were here with the Kuwait investment group. There's like 4 guys still here, and but anyway, so that's good. And then you bring new blood in. But being on a team, having a mentor at certain things and certain times in your life can really mean a whole lot.
You're probably training kids now.
Oh, I have been. I have.
Yeah.
I've done that.
All right, I see all this golf stuff around me here. You're playing golf now.
Mm-hmm.
Football, golf. What are your thoughts?
Oh, baby. Golf is by far the hardest. I can hit somebody in the mouth any day. I can still do that right now.
I look like a cat. Start with the cameraman if you want to.
I can do that right now. I can hit them in the mouth. But
hitting that little white ball's hard.
Oh my gosh, I look like I'm having a grand mal seizure chipping. It's the way, and my chipping left me. But I've had multiple surgeries in the last 2 years that's really hurt my golf, and it's just.
But it looks like it's your bonding. You bond bonding over it now. You hang out with your golfing
I hang out
buddies.
with my guys, and like Danny Marino said, Stuck, if I didn't love you, I'd never play golf with you again. But it's all about the camaraderie.
Right.
It's all about the guys, and but I miss that, and that's golf was the one sport that we could all play that you could still be competitive.
Yeah. Now, did you start playing in San Francisco, or did you pick it up after you retired?
After I retired, I came here, learned at Patriots Point in Charleston Municipal, and I had some great just teachers, and then I got to where I was addicted. I was playing 250, 265 rounds a year. I mean, I'd be out. I'd have Beth and the kids at the house, and I'm out here at 6:30, and I'm putting on the greens.
Right.
Out here, and I'm just always trying to get better. Always, but I'm getting back in. I've only played maybe 8-9 times in the last 2 years, but I'm playing tomorrow. And
you are playing tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going
beautiful day for it.
It'll be
perfect
great out. So I'm looking.
Which course you playing?
Cacique.
The Cacique, don't you have to walk Cacique, or can you take a
No,
card on
baby,
Cacique?
I get those handicap cards.
Oh, excellent.
I can't walk that far anymore. I milk that thing for as much as I can.
I got to ask, what's the Mr. Bill?
Oh no, Mr. Bill. Somebody gave me that. Oh no, Mr. Bill.
Younger kids won't remember that, but that guy used to crack
Mr.
me up.
Bill, I know. He was the best.
Good luck tomorrow in your golf match.
Thank you.
And good luck for the 49ers. I'll be cheering for them too, man.
I appreciate it.
See you, brother.
Thanks so much,
Thank
man.
You.